Hello, it's Tuesday Live. I am Omini Odem. United States-Nigeria relations have taken a sharp turn in recent days, indicating the widening gap between Abuja and Washington, D.C. On October 31st, United States President Donald Trump announced the designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern, CPC, for alleged violation of religious freedom. The next day, in a full-up social media post, Trump threatened military action against Nigeria as well as a full cutoff of United States aid to the country if its government continues to allow the killing of Christians. Diplomats and experts believed that United States should moderate its pressure with an open door for engagement. Blanket condemnation risks provoking defensiveness in Abuja. Constructive partnership could yield better results. United States policy should aim not merely to punish but to strengthen Nigeria's capacity to protect its own citizens. Without a doubt, Nigeria's renewed CPC designation is a diplomatic alarm bell, but it need not herald a breakdown in U.S.-Nigeria relations or escalate into a wider geopolitical standoff. It may sound paradoxical, but the best way to prove that an argument proceeds from a false premise is by continually pointing out the falsehood therefrom. It's truly heartwarming that the government has continued to navigate the present critical situation carefully, handling the matter diplomatically and laying out the facts and proper position of things to President Trump, the U.S. conservative media, the evangelicals and politicians. That way they can see their mistake and make informed decisions before we meet our quest. Let's get to see this backgrounder report put together by correspondent Garba Nato Allah.
Allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about.
When U.S. President Donald Trump speaks, the world listens, often in surprise. That surprise turned to global alarm on 2nd November, when alleged comments surfaced online. Trump is being heard reportedly directing the U.S. Department of War to prepare for a possible military intervention against Nigeria. His reason: to hold the persecution of Christians.
I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians.
In the same recording, Trump framed the move as a positive measure, suggesting the U.S. could deploy troops and engage in airstrikes to dislodge Islamic terrorist groups targeting Christians. For the Nigerian government, this wasn't a solution, it was a direct threat to its sovereignty. The declaration raised immediate concerns that such an action could destabilize not just Nigeria, but the entire West African region. The reaction from Abuja was firm and swift.
It affects all, and we must fight it together. This insecurity, everyone is affected, Christian, Muslim, alike. But we have to think of our country as if this country must develop, must go beyond myopic beliefs, must stand beyond religious bigotry.
Nigeria's response was one of firm rejection. Officials pushed back against the narrative of a religious war, though acknowledged to the nation's complex security crisis involving multiple militant groups and targeting all faiths, not a single faith.
Mr. President will continue to engage with the international community, not just the United States, everyone, the regional bodies, the continental bodies, and everyone that we think has a role to play in ensuring that Nigeria succeeds in ridding this country of these criminal elements that are helping the world to drive this narrative so that Nigeria will have a very bad name. And we know that this is not who we are as a country.
The government reiterated its constitutional mandate to ensure peace, security and economic development for all citizens, dismissing the need for foreign intervention.
Nigeria's constitutional commitment to religious freedom and rule of law. All the answers are in there.
The international community was briefed at Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The government proved its stance on security and its agenda, seeking to reassure allies and partners.
The state continues to wage a comprehensive counter-terrorism campaign against groups that target Nigerians of all faiths. It is therefore inaccurate to characterize Nigeria's complex security challenges as manifestations of state-sanctioned religious intolerance.
At the very heart of this controversy is a deeper issue. The previous U.S. designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern on religious freedom, combined with Trump's alleged comments, puts the question among Nigerians: what truly unites them in a secular state that constitutionally guarantees freedom of worship?
Where you worship and how you worship and who you worship didn't really matter to us.
This is about our lives, about God. And God created us all, gave us this space to live and thrive. Nobody can tell me that if he's a Muslim and no Christian has been of benefit for him before. No Christian can tell me there's no Muslim that has been of benefit to him before.
I don't believe that Muslim will say you should go and kill somebody made in the image and likeness of God. You look at him and then took him knife. And likewise, I don't believe Christianity should do that.
We should all live together. But the issue of insecurity now has brought division in the country, and we are pleading that the government help us to stand up and attack this menace and really get a final solution to the insecurity that we are experiencing.
The challenge is, once we destroy this country, unfortunately our children are going to have to live with the ruins, and if God provides for them, they have a good leader, maybe they will be able to build it, but it's not worth it at all. If we can focus on what makes us one, which is the strength, the intelligence. I mean, when you hear what people say about us Nigerians across the globe, you are proud.
A different approach is seen diplomatically, as diplomats and analysts have entered the fray. They seek to examine the reality on ground.
Respect does not fall down on your lap from heaven. Respect is earned. And for you to earn respect, it is what you do, or what you fail to do, or what you are not doing that will earn you respect. So for us to earn respect in the international fora, we have to be able to put our house in order, and for others to see that we have put our house in order, beginning from security and the ability to feed our people and the ability to provide jobs for the teeming youth so that they don't begin to hustle across the Sahara desert in order to cross the Mediterranean to seek greener pastures in Europe and other things.
It will deepen the division. So our scriptures, whether the Bible or the Quran, said we should love for our neighbors what we love for ourselves. And if that is the case, why should a normal Christian, ignore the killings that are happening in Zamfara, the killings that are happening in Sokoto, the killings that are happening in Katsina or Kaduna or Niger or Borno or Yobe or Taraba, right? The gospel of Jesus Christ is a gospel of love. This is what we come to understand.
Their response contradicts the U.S. claims, but their analysis is crucial in the days ahead, as more guests on Tuesday Live will further x-ray implications and Nigeria's options to preempt any further escalation.
Thanks so much, Dr. Allah, for that backgrounder. Nigeria, country of particular concern. That's what President Trump said. But our focus tonight is Trump's threat, patriotism for national development. It's Tuesday Live, and you know very well this program is interactive. At some point, our phone lines will be open, and you'll be allowed to call in to raise your concerns, ask questions, and make your contributions. And if we get to you, please go straight to the point. You don't need to rigmarole because we don't have all the time. Go straight to the point and address your point. And when doing this, please turn down the volume of your device to avoid the echo. Also, we shall be going to a couple of centers. Tonight, we'll be going to, let me quickly take a flip at our list. We should be going to Maiduguri, we should be going to Ibadan, your state, we should be going to Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, and we should be going to Kaduna to take reports from that end, because truly our focus tonight has really generated a lot of concerns, even up till this evening, or listening to the public broadcast. Conversations are still thriving from various concerns, discordant tunes, but no crisis yet. The focus tonight is Trump's threat, patriotism for national concerns. It's a full house, and it will be in Abuja, and maybe at some point to start be joining a guest in Lagos if he's eventually true to us. Once again, it's Tuesday Live, and the focus is threat, President Trump's threat, patriotism for national development. I have a full house tonight. I have to my immediate left, former Nigerian ambassador to Pakistan, His Excellency Ambassador Dauda Danladi. Good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Ibrahim Abdullahi, a human resources management professional and retired director from the Kwara State Public Service, fellow of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. He is currently the national coordinator of the Muslim Media Watch Group of Nigeria, a faith-based Islamic organization. Good to have you on the program, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. And last but not the least is a foreign affairs expert, Dr. Adoye Matthew Omale. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Let's begin. Like I said, a guest will be joining us from our Lagos Network Center. As soon as it's up, we'll get to let you know who he is. But for now, let's leave it in the can. Let me begin from you, Your Excellency. Will I call it discordant tunes?
Okay.
Nigerians, some are so excited, some are very angry, some are very much on the fence. You saw it from the reports across the board. Strength, intelligence, sovereignty, coexistence, and others are on the affirmative. Let me take your thought on this. How do you react to this?
Well, I think I will start by making some observations. That one, you see, in the theater of global superpowers, when a president, one of the most powerful presidents like President Trump, issues such a warning, of course it will draw global attention as well as domestic attention to Nigeria. Again, it will have socio-economic and political ramifications. You see, when this threat was issued out, I think it was on Friday, the following Monday, the Nigerian sovereign bond and the long-term due bonds dipped. Thank God for the timely and diplomatic response of Nigeria. The situation could have led to a market volatility, which could have immediately raised the cost of borrowings for banks, manufacturers. The effort of this present government to curb inflation could have been rolled back. In addition, the effort of this government to diversify the economy in order to stabilize the Nigerian economy through boosting the non-oil export, projected to grow at about 7%, very ambitious, would have been diminished. In addition, any disruption in the supply chain of our oil industry will mean a drop in oil production, and that, of course, would have created a serious economic gaps budgetary gaps. Government is struggling right now to fund the 2025 budgets through the deficits. And of course, it will not only affect Nigeria, but it will also affect the economy of the United States, being a major oil-producing nation. And most critical and important is the issue of regional stability. Nigeria has been a great ally of the United States in the fight against terrorism, not only in Nigeria but in the Sahelian countries, considering the geopolitical position and status of Nigeria. If there is any disruption in Nigeria, of course it will create regional instability and by extension the African continent and even global peace. So going forward, it's mind-boggling because Nigeria and the United States have a robust relationship dating back to the 1960s when Nigeria got her independence. And Nigeria in the African continent is the second largest trading partner with the United States. You are looking at a volume of about $13 billion. It's not a small amount of money. The interests of the United States will also be affected if that happens. Nigeria, of course, and the United States have a lot of bilateral agreements. And these agreements have translated to various assistance. For example, the fight against terrorism, the contribution of the United States towards the implementation of various reforms that have been put in place, the non-kinetic reforms, humanitarian assistance. You see, in 2023, Nigeria got a package of about $1.2 billion assistance. In 2024, we got about over $900 million. And even in 2025, even though President Trump cut the USA, abrogated the US aid, we still got about over $80 million. So what does that tell us? It tells that we have a long, deep-rooted relationship. And going forward, I think perhaps Nigeria can leverage this to draw the necessary support and assistance. In the more than of recent, the terrorists in Nigeria are using drones. That means that we need our armed forces, our gallant armed forces, need the required technology, they need the required firepower, they need the required equipment and tools so that they can combat the menace of this terrorism. But let me just quickly say this, that we can learn a lesson, because in the recent past, the same accusation was made against South Africa, white farmers' genocide. And President Ramaphosa dashed down to Washington, held concrete, constructive discussions with President Trump, presented the case, and today the matter is history. And I am very optimistic that the diplomatic steps that have been taken with that has been taken by the present government in order to debunk these negative narratives, coupled with re-establishing Nigeria's visibility in Washington, because the absence of high-level representation, of course, will leave the country vulnerable.
Okay, let me hold you there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now, it's as good as you encapsulated the background report that was given to us. Now, the swift reaction by the federal government through the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Nigeria's Information Minister Idris called Trump's threats unwarranted and based on faulty data. The government emphasizes is tackling terrorism, not just Christian persecution via military action, but regional cooperation and dialogue. Let me go to you, sir. How do you react to this?
I think we must be factual when we are discussing issue of this nature, and any issue for that matter. The proclamation of Donald Trump, to me and to most Nigerians, is shocking, disturbing, and worrying. This is because the authenticity of it cannot be proved. I can say it cannot be proved because no particular attack since Boko Haram and other insecurity have been happening in Nigeria insurgents, bandits, these all the people who are causing the problem, they don't look at the face of those they are attacking. They are not concerned about religion. They are concerned about destroying lives and property. So those who are wasting lives, wasting property, how come will those who claim to be religious will now say because probably we are minority in a particular country, because of our minority, we need to go and talk to the people who are powerful more than Nigeria to come and help us, so that if we blackmail Nigeria, they will come and straighten things for us. I will believe, those who believe in that, and went further to go and lay that false report, I regard them as ignoramus. Because this is Nigeria, where Muslims, Christians, and other believers in other faiths have been living fine without any problem. The problem we have is joint problem of insecurity that have been affecting both of us. On record, without any argument, Muslims have been mostly affected. Insecurity that pervaded Nigeria has affected nothing less than 12 out of the 19 states of the north. And we can say thousands, if not millions, have been killed among the Muslims. The only genocide that I can point to that affect Christians are very minimal. Number one is this
genocide or persecution.
No.
Because if I understand you, genocide is very hard.
Okay, let's say
persecution,
wasting of life of Christians that I know emanated from the separatist group in the southeast of Nigeria, where the leader of IPOB and supporters of ESN threatened that there should be no election in Nigeria because Southeast is not part of Nigeria, therefore Biafra. They've been threatening for the past 8 years. The leader of the group was arrested, detained, he bolted away, he was rearrested, he's under trial presently. You are aware, and the nation is aware, that the sit-at-home order on Mondays, whoever violates it, members of IPOB and ESN were gunning down Igbo people. Men, women, young and old. Only Igbo leaders could tell you in each of the 5 states of the Southeast the number of Igbo people that were killed. In the same Igbo land, the same people were targeting minority Muslims who are from the north, and they were being killed. There were reports of a lady who was killed together with his 5 children in a particular state. These are the cases of targeted Christians which occurred through Nnamdi Kanu and his collaborators. The only one that is also known, well known, is the attack on the Anglican worshippers in Owo, which took place during the time of the late governor of Ondo State. People that were suspected to have committed the crime came from a particular state, and they've been arrested and they are under trial presently. These are the cases we know. But it is very, very unfortunate that people who parade themselves as religious leaders will think of going to the United States of America to lay a report, and it was even claimed that a very top leader of Christian in Nigeria signed a report along with some others in 2022 and submitted it to US that Christians were being targeted and they were being killed. This is falsehood. A single case of Christian targeted could now be mentioned if it is true. What is happening in Benue and Plateau are farmer-herders clashes, which has been there for the past 20, 30 years. Other issues are boundary issues of Christians in Benue and Plateau killing themselves, ignoring the fact that they are brothers and sisters. These are the issues. Muslims have never targeted Christians for killing. Christians have never targeted Muslims for killing in Nigeria. This is the right situation that is on ground that everybody knows. Okay. So if the Honorable Minister for Information and National Orientation reacted by saying that what Trump said is unwarranted, he's on the right track. Okay. Because there's no record showing what Trump has said.
Thank you so much. And like some will say, so with all this, what was happening? But that's not the issue now. Let me go to Omale. Omale, now, listening to Ibrahim Abdullahi, it pricks me. If Nigerians will gather themselves, get visas, buy air tickets, and fly to United States, where lies the sovereignty of Nigeria? And here takes me to the question. Respect for Nigeria's territorial integrity. Yet, Nigerians are saying, even at this, they will welcome U.S. aid only if it doesn't compromise with the sovereignty of the country. How do you react to this?
Well, I have listened to my colleagues, Ambassador, and my other colleagues. Definitely, the threat to invade Nigeria will definitely violate Nigeria's territorial integrity, and that is not accepted by international law. As an international relations expert, it negates all conventions, both Geneva Convention, both the Charter of the United Nations, and everything. It was under the League of Nations that such action may not be frowned at. But after the 1945 and the setting up of the United Nations, there is really no excuse whatsoever that you can give to violate the territorial integrity of a sovereign nation. So there's nothing. But you could only, the only permission is that when you have the responsibility to protect the 3R, which is supposed to be carried out by the United Nations Security Council. That means no country on its own could violate the territorial integrity of a sovereign and independent country unless an action authorized by the United Nations Security Council with the intention of protecting genocide or population, minorities, or other ethnic nationalities that are facing threats, existential threats of extinction. It was only on that basis that the United Nations Charter and the United Nations instruments permits intervention. Now, in this case, in the extant case of the Nigerian case, I don't think we have gotten to that level. But that is not to say, I have listened to my colleagues who have said I'm from Benue State. That is not to say that there are no killings. And these killings have been going on for the past 10 to 15 years. And questions have been raised. To be fair, the Honorable Minister is right. I want to say without fear of contradiction that in the last 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a lot has been achieved. It has not been the way it was in the last 5 to 6 years.
Well, some say nothing has been done.
No. A lot has been done. I will put it that a lot has been done. The killings are not as rapid. They are not as sustained
as it was
under, let me be frank, under Buhari and other presidents. Even under Jonathan. When Jonathan was president, it was like everybody, everywhere was like hellfire. Everybody kidnapping. Don't forget that the Chibok girls were taken under Jonathan. Now, what I don't subscribe to is the notion that there is no killings. Whether the killings of Muslims, whether the killings of Christians, whether the killings, there are killings. And these killings are unacceptable because it's lives that are being lost. The primary responsibility of every government is to protect the lives and security of people. And that is where I find it very, very absurd that lives and killings are going on and we don't have solution to them. Why can't we track those that are perpetrating these killings? Why can't we dislodge them from the camps that they exist? Why can't we use intelligence? Why can't we obliterate them? We have the capacity to do that. The government have the capacity to do that. And all these years, we allow them to fester. We allow them to have grown to the level that they grow. You see, you will not know the pains that somebody like me go through. The pains that I am an Idoma man. We have been protesting in Agatu. What we are saying, even the Benue State government has to bring an edit to say that there should be ranching. Why in the 21st century, for God's sake, will somebody be moving cattle from Sokoto all the way through Benue to the south? Why not ranch? There are enough land in the north. If Israel, for example, that is a desert, they can grow grasses and farm and turn desert into green areas. What is the big deal? The government of Sokoto, the government of Kasida, the government of whatever government can provide water, provide irrigation, provide, even in these days, in Dubai, they even create artificial rainfall, where you can have rainfall all year round. So what is the big deal? It's just about
let me just
and so on. So the issue of farmers' elders classes should not even arise in the 21st century.
Okay,
there's enough technology where farmers can rear their cattle. You don't need to go to somebody's farm. And let me say something about farmers' elders clashes. The clashes are not happening in the farms. Why are people sleeping in their community 2 a.m.? People will come and attack them in their homes, kill children, kill women, when they are not in the farms. So if it is farmers say that clashes, why are the clashes not happening in the farms?
Thank you very much.
The clashes are happening.
We'll sustain that. I'm excited that the opening has touched on diplomacy, has touched on government reaction, has touched on sovereignty, and indeed the people's reaction. I said it at the beginning that we'll go to some centers to get reports. But like I told our viewers, at the appropriate time, our phone lines will be displayed on the screen. And if we are through to the line, please turn down the volume of the television set and we will be good to go and go straight to the point. Before we take our report from the center, I think it is only auspicious that I introduce our guest joining us from our Lagos Network Center to give us his thoughts. And after his brief thoughts, we will take the reports from Maiduguri and Ibadan Network Centers back to back. You can see on the screen Dr. Tunji Aboyomi, constitutional lawyer, joining us from our Lagos Network Center. Good to have you on the program again, Doctor.
And I'm sorry to be a little late. Terrible traffic in Lagos. Thank you.
Talked about the diplomacy of the matter. We have taken government reactions, and we have also looked at the sovereignty of the country. But some Nigerians are saying either way, dialogue is key. How do you react to this? Briefly, please.
I think it's important for a nation to face its challenges. I have listened to some of my colleagues. I think, in my view, it is essential for us to face the fact that the nation has very serious problem with relationship whether it's ethnic or religious, as well as security. In my view, what America is saying, whether right or wrong, is not in the interest of this nation. As you are well aware, the concern has left America, has gone to Canada, has gone to Britain, and perhaps is going to go through the entire Western civilization. Now, people keep complaining, with due respect, that citizens are going to America, they wrote a letter, and so on and so forth. They are citizens of Nigeria, and I think it is essential, in my view, to listen to their complaint and their concerns about their security. So the issue of diplomacy should first of all take place within the internal land of this nation in terms of relationship, in terms of religious tolerance, in terms of ethnic tolerance. In other words, I think the diplomacy we are talking about should focus on our Nigerianity. I don't think it would be very interesting, in my view, to be only Christians that will be worried about the fact that Christians are being killed. I would like to listen to the voice of Islamic leaders and their concern and their agitation that their brothers and sisters, the children that happen to be Christians, are being. And I would like to listen also to Christians that their brothers and sisters who happen to be Muslims are being killed, to be defending a clear present danger to the unity of this country. To my mind, it's not facing reality or the truth as a people. We need to be honest with ourselves as a nation. If a whole lot of our citizens in the north, because of their religion, they are complaining that they are endangered, I will expect the leaders, particularly the Islamic leaders, to be very concerned, because they are your brothers and your sisters. They are your children, regardless of. I would like to even hear more concern from the Islamic leaders than from the Christian leaders. So the diplomacy is what the concern should be internal. We shouldn't wait for America. All that agitation that is going on, why should it even occur? Because America has spoken, something we ought to have preoccupied with in resolving as a people, defending and attacking America and saying they are not. To my mind, those are not the issue. The issue is that the nation has a problem. And the leaders of this nation need to face the reality and the challenge, the very serious problem regarding the issue, the present issue. This is my position.
So much, Dr. Abayomi. We'll come back to the team here in Abuja and in Lagos. Let's just sustain this conversation with this report from Maiduguri and Ibadan, back to back, beginning with Maiduguri.
Known for centuries as a thriving commercial hub, Maiduguri has long been home to indigenous people and Nigerians from across the country who have lived, traded, and worked together in peace and harmony. With the full restoration of peace to Maiduguri, following more than a decade of insecurity, life has returned to normal as markets have reopened, businesses have picked up, and the sound of daily activities once again fills the air. Today, both indigenous and non-indigenous live side by side, rebuilding their lives and communities with renewed hope and determination. The Borno State government and security agencies have also continued to emphasize that the focus remains on restoring total peace to all parts of the state, rebuilding livelihoods, strengthening the economy, and promoting unity among all residents.
Among the measures the Borno State government put in place are interfaith dialogue. These dialogues aims to address misconceptions, building trust, building confidence, and promote collaborations among interfaith groups. The other measures put by Borno State government is community engagement programs that involve community members from various religious groups, backgrounds in planning and decision-making process, which have built a sense of ownership and shared responsibility among each groups.
Religious leaders have repeatedly affirmed that the insurgency targeted all citizens, irrespective of faith, maintaining that labeling the crisis as one against a particular religion misrepresents the reality.
As Christians has no problem because there are so many Christians live in Muslims community. They were even brought up, educated by Muslims. At the same time, we find some Christians took care of their sisters and brothers at home and even educated them with their souls and resources without any problems.
We know that now both Christians and Muslims are not spared. So it is better for us to join hands together, forget about our differences. Because religions, we can all appear before God and give answer to our fellowship with Him. So if religion is a thing between you and your God, I pray and I encourage our Muslim brothers and our Christian brothers to throw out all kinds of differences.
Many citizens view the recent allegation of targeted persecution as unhelpful to the peace-building process, urging international partners to seek a deeper understanding of local realities before drawing conclusions.
I've been a beneficiary of so many benevolence of the land of Borno State, especially that of His Excellency Professor Umar Babagana Zulum, who recently gave me an appointment to be a graduate assistant with the Kashim Ibrahim University.
Since the inception of this insurgency, Muslim, Christian, non-Muslim, non-Christian, all were affected by this insurgency. They were not targeting any particular group of religion or group of people.
I have been in Borno State for long. We have been wrapping up together with the people of Borno State. The governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, is accommodative. He has been accommodating both non-indigenous and everybody together. So I see peace. No matter all the things that have been happening, we feel at peace.
Before, we know the situation in Borno State. But right now, there's a peace. People live in harmony.
It's not only Christians that are affected. Almost all tribes and religions are affected in this.
As peace continues to take root, Maiduguri remains a true reflection of Nigeria's resilience, where unity, faith, and mutual respect triumph over division and misinformation.
Nigeria, the most populous black country in the world, is expectedly a potpourri of culture, traditions, as well as religion. In spite of this diversity, however, Nigerians have been able to weather the storm together. This is why many believe the security challenges facing the country, ranging from kidnapping, banditry, and destruction of lives and property, may not be unconnected with external influence. Bishop Ibadan Anglican Diocese, Most Reverend Joseph Akinfenwa, is therefore calling for proper manning of the nation's borders as well as impartial treatment to all.
Our borders are too porous. Whatever work we are doing within to restore this thing, if our borders are not properly manned, there's nothing that we can do. People will continue to come in with all sorts of wickedness to perpetrate evil. They even convince our people that this is the easiest way to make money. So we must safeguard our house.
Islam does not teach us to kill non-Muslim in the name of religion. Your religion is religion, our religion. Whoever kills in the name of religion is a non-believer, and he shall be admitted into hellfire in the day of Qiyamah. And he will be punished in this earth before he leaves.
Lukman Jokutade, a Muslim faithful, has 3 siblings practicing Christianity. The United States threat of military action against Nigeria to him is unwarranted as both Christians and Muslims in the country are victims of insurgency.
But at this time in our country, we need patriotism. We must get behind our leaders. They need our support at this time. Why we should, at the same time, within our various community, be vigilant. These people live among us. They live within our midst. So let us assess ourselves. Where I live, where you live, and in our various communities. These people can be identified. When you notice certain strange movements within your community, call on to security agencies.
Nigeria's religious diversity to our respondents should be leveraged by the federal government to build a harmonious society with appeal for unity in national development.
If there is love, I want to believe, as a Christian and Muslim, we've been living together right from the onset, and there's no any problem right from the onset. So I don't know why now that we are now posing problem to ourselves.
The charge of stakeholders is for policies that respect and celebrate the country's diverse religious heritage.
The two reports from Maiduguri and Ibadan. I'm happy at the beginning I allowed us bear our minds on what the thoughts are. We talked on diplomacy, we talked on government reaction, we talked on sovereignty, and from Lagos Network Center, it was a summary of all. Nigerianness, leadership, nation has a problem. So, listening to the two reports from Maiduguri and Ibadan, let's interrogate this. Our focus tonight is Trump threats, patriotism for national development. How do we address this patriotism for national development? Let me begin with you.
Well, you see, patriotism is a very powerful force. A cursory definition is love, loyalty, dedication to the preservation of the national interest. Yes, we have serious challenges, security challenges. If you are alleging the issue of genocide, I'd say we from Borno State, where Mama Yusuf, the founder of Boko Haram, where 14 of our local government areas were ransacked, where we have over 30,000 orphans in the state. I think we should claim the issue of genocide against our people in Borno State. But the issue boils down to patriotism. How patriotic are we? How transparent in the conduct of our activities? What is the level of sacrifice to advance development in our country, to arrest the menace of this insecurity? How patriotic are our leaders in implementing policies, ensuring judicious utilization of funds to address this particular situation? This has been ongoing for the past 15 years, and it seems to defy solutions. But if we are patriotic, there will be no need to take this matter outside the country. There will be no need for you to seek for an intervention. Because if you know the history of U.S. interventions around the world, perhaps you will think twice to take this matter to U.S. We have a robust bilateral defense cooperation with the United States. If you are going to the United States to seek for support, it's understandable. If you are going to the United States to garner strengthening intelligence sharing so that this issue can be tackled, it's understandable. But to me, in my humble opinion, it is very unpatriotic for you to carry this matter outside the shores of Nigeria, seeking the intervention of other country. The history of interventions, the United States was in Iraq. What happened? It snowballed into a very bloody civil war between the Sunni and the Shiites in Iraq. It devastated the economy of Iraq. Their oil production plummeted. They were in Libya. Libya became a cesspool.
But you were in Pakistan hatchery at the time.
Yes. I was in Pakistan.
So tell us
I was in Pakistan.
Okay.
Now, in Pakistan, it was a collaboration. It was a partnership between the United States and Pakistan to tackle the menace of terrorism in Pakistan. You know, in Pakistan, they had about 39 terrorist organizations. And Pakistan has been very resilient. They were able to mobilize support, China, the United States, and other Western countries. You see, if you are looking for a cooperation, partnership, joint effort to tackle a particular problem, it's a different ballgame. But when you are looking, seeking for a country to come and intervene, where is the patriotism? Where is the love for your country? You have to put the national interest above any other interest.
Let me hold you there. Gentlemen, permit me to go to Lagos. We'll come back to two of you, please. Dr. Bayami, we are back to you now. United States concerns and interventions in Nigeria vis-a-vis patriotism by Nigerians. How do you react to it?
The government, and I'm talking of governments, because often we spend a whole lot of our time focusing on the federal government. But we have many governments in Nigeria. We have state governments, we have local governments, and all of them are given the duty to protect citizens of the Federal Republic. So if we are talking of patriotism, the leaders, our leaders, should be more patriotic. I have said again, when you have a people that adopt what I call the theory of the other person, the society will have peace. Just look at it. If, for example, I'm preoccupied with your problem, trying to find solution to your concerns, and you are preoccupied with my concerns, everybody will be happier. But in a nation, if you have a situation where it is acceptable, for example, for Christians, when you hear that a Muslim is killed, that is tragedy. Or if it is acceptable to the Muslim, instead of holy anger, and it's acceptable when, for example, a Christian is killed. I have a personal experience. And when you are talking of patriotism, that language means nothing to a victim of terror. I had my own cousin, a Major Ajayi, in Odoape, 77-year-old, 77. He has served this nation, retired. He was in his house. In the middle of the night, Fulani herdsmen blew up his door, kidnapped him. We collected 10 million in order to free him. They still killed him. They got the money and killed him. Now you are talking of patriotism. What manner of patriotism will that be? The only patriotism that will matter to them is to find any means by which another cousin will not be killed. So the issue of patriotism will only make any sense when you can live in peace, when you can have security, when you can have safety in your own nation. So that's why I'm saying that this matter ought to have provoked great interest of the leaders of this nation, whether they are Muslims or Christians. Why, for example, are we not hearing from emas, the Muslim leaders, and so on and so forth, focusing on the concern of Christians? And why are we not hearing from Christians, clergymen, and so on, focusing on the concern of Muslims in our country? Why is it that we are hearing it from America? And why all this agitation now? Because Americans spoke. When we should have been concerned about the state of our nation, the security of citizens, their well-being. Is it not a failure of a nation? Why are we pretending as if the problem has not overwhelmed us? One of something is talking of 15 years. How does it make sense that 15 years the problem has been there, and now American is talking about it, and we are all agitated? Are we not ashamed as a nation, we must be sincere and face the truth of our situation. We need to be honest in our country about our challenges and how to find a solution. Our leaders need to wake up. There is a revolution of rising frustration in our nation, and we need to face that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abayomi. Let me come to Omale and
who should speak
Ibrahim.
first?
No, I'll begin with you.
No, I concede to
I
you.
will have challenged you.
Okay, let's take it from this perspective. I went to Lagos from the perspective of U.S. concerns and patriotism. Let's address what Dr. Abayomi raised. Nigerians, tolerance vis-a-vis patriotism.
Thank you very much. My view about this, I have a lot of respect for Dr. Abayomi, who is part of us this evening, and I've listened to him very, very well. Let him now listen to me too. I've listened to him, and I hope others are listening all over the world. The issue of Boko Haram started 2009. Obasanjo could not find solution to it till he left in 2007. New government came in from 2007 to 2014. That government also did its own best in bringing insecurity, in reducing it. Now, Buhari came in 2015. Since 2015 that Buhari came, if he has not done much in other areas, we must commend Buhari on how peace was restored to the northeast, where crisis of Boko Haram started, that spread to the whole of northeast, north central, northwest, and other parts of the country. Boko Haram has been decimated. Presently, what we discovered is that other crimes, other criminalities took over. This include kidnapping, banditry, demanding for ransom, and all whatnot. These are some of the things that remain. Boko Haram is finished. ISWAP and Boko Haram are now facing each other, and they are dealing with themselves. They don't have the time for us again. We must commend the past government over what it has done that brought an end to Boko Haram crisis. We must also commend the government of Jonathan and Buhari on how they've been fighting insecurity in Nigeria.
But Nigerians said they never got anywhere with it.
That is not true. That is not true. Crime has reduced to the barest minimum. All others are growing up, and the current administration is fighting it. What are you going to say about the Southeast that I've talked about? Soldiers were killed by the separatist groups until IPOB was banned and ESN. You can't wear police uniform in any of the 5 Southeast states. You can't parade yourself as security officer of civil defense, immigration, or whatnot. Do you have such a thing in the Southeast again? Can you see such a thing in the South-South? If they say government has not been doing anything, I will say that is very, very unfair to the government we'll be having in this country. Our government have been trying. Criminality has been increasing because of poverty and bad governance of several years till now. So when the government of today is doing its best in various ways to solve the problem, somebody will now say that what is government doing? Government is doing a lot. Have you ever seen such crisis in the Southwest? Have you ever seen such crisis in the South-South? Where it emanated in the Southeast, was it not quelled? Is Northeast not peaceful now? Is Northwest not getting peaceful with all that has been happening? Government have been doing a lot, and we will be bad followers. We will be bad fellows of this country to continue to say that government is not doing anything. It's very, very unfair, very discouraging, very disturbing to our security forces, the police, the army, the navy, the Nigerian Air Force. It will be very disturbing to them. How do you say Nigeria is not doing anything? In all that is being done, let me talk on the patriotism you question Ambassador about. I align with him that some religious leaders are not patriotic. They are concerned about their personal interest, economic benefit. That's why they assigned paper to U.S. Have they never heard that in all the countries that U.S. had gone, about 10 or 11 of them, they destroyed those countries? How do you go there and file a paper to them? NIREC, Nigeria Interreligious Council, is an agency of the federal government in which initially 25 Muslim leaders, 25 Christian leaders started the organization over 10 years ago. And since this Sultan, who is in position now, got to the leadership of that place, with the camp president as the other co-chairman, issues that affect religious understanding, nipping crisis in the bud, have been discussed. What worried Muslims of Nigeria in the last 15 days that Trump has spoken is that Muslims across the country, they met under the Supreme Council and they were worried that if issues like this have been happening in the country, why is it that the Christian leaders failed to table it at the NIREC meeting? Several NIREC meetings were held and are being held, about 4 annually are being held. SGF will always represent the president. Sometimes the president would go there to declare it open and all whatnot. It is lack of patriotism that took a religious leader or some religious leader to U.S. to go and report. If we need intervention of Britain or America, it is the government that will now say, yes, where we have gotten to, we need to invite external body to support us. But those who went, signed paper in the back door, the document has just leaked about a week ago. Before then, the Sultan of Sokoto was saying that Khan leader will never sign such a document to U.S. because we've been meeting. He's been in position for the past 19 years. He's been traveling to all parts of the southeast, south, and southwest, all over the country, this present Sultan. If he's so open to you, and you claim to be open to him, why do you want to destroy your nation by filing complaint abroad? That shows lack of patriotism, lack of dedication, lack of commitment, and interest in selfish economic power, which they want to gain from the U.S.
Let's hold it there.
God has exposed them.
I'll come to you. Let me follow the trajectory of this program. We'll take a break, and when we come back, I will continue the conversation. And the focus tonight is Trump's threat, patriotism for national development. Before we went on break, we're looking at patriotism, Nigerians, and tolerance. Dr. Abayomi has sustained it. Ambassador Danladi has sustained it. And Ibrahim Abdullah has talked about it. Let's now take the turn of Omale. Let's take your...
Well, the issue of patriotism. Nigerians are the most patriotic people I've ever seen on planet Earth. Nigerians are very, very patriotic. Nigerians are very tolerant. Nigerians are the only group of people I have seen that what is happening in this country, people have shock absorber and will tolerate it. 80% of what is happening in this country, if it is in Europe or any other, they don't have shock absorber. They don't have it. They will just burn down the whole place. Look at Democratic of Congo. Look at the whole of Africa. Nigerians are the most patriotic people I've ever seen. We must commend. If they say when a lizard falls from the tree and nobody hails him, he shake his head. Nigerians have natural shock absorbers. Let me be very frank. It is only in Nigeria that all the things that are happening, from corruption to election rigging to bandits to kidnapping to killing of innocent people that is happening, that the country has not gone in flames. So nobody should talk about patriotism. People are over patriotic. Let me make that point very clear. Now, the issue of reporting, I have said it. When you continue to talk and talk, there have been several, I am an academic, I have attended several workshops. Insecurity in Nigeria, there are hundreds and thousands of papers, farmers, headers, clashes. I have read, many of my students have done work on farmers, headers, clashes. They have done on even Buhari, Ruga. They have done so many studies. None is being implemented. So nobody should lecture me on issue of patriotism or issue of nationalism. What makes, what counts in terms of nationalism is the capacity of a country to defend its citizens, to protect their lives. And you see, Thomas Hobbes, in his treaty, the Leviathan, he talked about the rudimentary role of government. And he said it's to protect lives and property. Nobody should come and give me buku about all these things. Look, government, no matter what, the role of government is to ensure that there is order, there is protection of life and property. Anything short of that is not, it's just, you are just blabbing. So let me be very, very frank this evening. It's an issue that I'm very passionate. I'm not interested in all the rhetorics. Muslim, Christian, this, that. The important thing is that there are killings, there are insecurity, and it has to be stopped.
Sure.
That is the bottom line.
Yeah, that confirms that actually we are, despite the fact that we are agreeing to disagree, disagreeing to agree, we agree that there's a problem.
Yes.
Okay,
So
our phone lines are open
if
now.
there's any issue about, look, I don't like to be drawn into religious issues because religion is personal.
Yeah,
on the last day, we will all go before God, and God will pass his judgment on us. So if we are here tussling about Islam, Christianity...
Let's just hold it there. Our phone lines are open.
Yes.
We'll take the first caller. After the caller, we react. Then we take two reports from Abakaliki and Kaduna and so let's take this caller from this is Godswill? Godswill, go ahead, Godswill. Godswill, you're on, please. Turn down the volume of the television set, please. Good evening, Godswill.
Yeah, good evening.
Go ahead, please. We can hear you.
Oh, yeah, good evening. I'm calling them. You can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Very interesting what is going on. The last speaker, God will bless you. When he mentioned that whosoever that do whatever he's doing, God is seeing us and God will pay back. Thank God that all of us believe in God. Whosoever that started this Boko Haram of a thing, God knows him. He cannot hide that from it. But all I'm saying is this: let government hands together and solve this problem that we are into. Number one, we cannot eat very well in this country. Number two, we cannot travel where there's no road. Number three, you cannot travel. Then I went to Enugu. In when I left that place, they kidnapped 3 people. You don't have money to fly. You don't have money to travel to your place. There's no good road. There is insecurity everywhere. So what are we doing? Why are we Nigerians? Please, you should help us and talk to the presidency, people that can be able to help us out. We are begging. We are begging. The other man said we have shock or something. God bless you, my brother. We do a lot. If we bring our first up to 100,000, we will struggle and get one and help our family to eat. We are not beggars. We are a hard-working nation. We can do anything to survive. But they are not doing us well. That's my submission. I pray that God will help us in this nation. That whatever is doing, all we know that God will visit the one day. Because I don't think that anybody can live forever.
Thank you so much.
That's my submission.
Thank you, Godswill. Godswill called in from Abuja. And if calls were allowed... Okay, we have another caller? Okay. Let's take this report in sustaining this conversation from Abakaliki. Thereafter, we'll go to the Kaduna Network Center.
Perception. Nigeria has been a country endowed with people from different cultures, tribes and religion, relating and reflecting beauty in diversity. These attributes distinguish Nigeria from the rest of the world and keep her strong even in the face of adversity. However, the recent comments by the U.S. president, respondents say, does not reflect the reality on ground, since all citizens are susceptible to this hydra-headed monster due to Nigeria's heterogeneous nature.
Our culture is tolerating every other religion and also other cultures, because there is unity in diversity.
Nigeria is great because we are many, but if we go ahead and disintegrate, brother, I tell you, it is going to be the worst.
Emphasizing that it is a threat to all, with wide-range implications on Nigeria's sovereignty, internal stability and regional security architecture, a public affairs analyst, Amechi Odo, said calls for urgent government intervention by re-strategizing on tackling insecurity. Citizens, on the other hand, should unite and support security forces with useful information.
That Nigeria is a big country, we've not actually exploited it. We have not actually exploited the human capital, endowments that we have, to tackle our problem.
Some clerics highlighted the long-standing peaceful coexistence among families of diverse beliefs, as many Nigerian communities have lived side by side for decades without friction, stressing that traditional rulers who are closer to the grassroots should intensify efforts to foster patriotism, peaceful coexistence, dialogue, and early conflict resolution.
The Muslims and the Christians and the traditionalists will come together and dialogue. Let there be a dialogue among us. Then, if there's any agreement, the agreement should be carried.
That you worship in the church, you worship in the mosque and other places of worship, it's because there is peace. It's because we are living together in peace. If there is a problem in the country, you may not dare go close to the worship place.
The general consensus is that Nigeria is at a defining moment, and all religion should not just unite to tackle insecurity, but should also work towards protecting the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity.
Nigeria is often described as a diverse nation, with Kaduna State standing tall as a beacon of peace and unity in diversity. The state experienced challenges in the past but has become a symbol of coexistence where Christians and Muslims, young and old, continue to live, work and grow together in mutual respect and understanding.
After work and work and work, religious leaders were able to address the issue of intolerance, and they brought about religious harmony. With the signing of the Kaduna Peace Declaration of Religious Leaders in 2002, hostility against people of different religious background reduced drastically.
In the last 3 decades, we have worked across this country, but more especially in Kaduna State, which are built, one can see the peaceful coexistence in Kaduna. Today we are celebrating, and the governor of Kaduna State was marked as what? As ambassador of peaceful coexistence.
Kurmiyan Mashi in Kaduna is a typical example of an area known for its unity in diversity. And right behind me here is a mosque, and just next the other house is a church. This have existed for over a century. Ahmed Mohammed Aliyu, village head of Kurmiyan Mashi, and John Elejo has been residing in Kurmiyan Mashi for more than 2 decades. They identified tolerance and community dialogue as pillars sustaining the unity in the area.
The mosque and the church, they have been here for years. And since then, there's never an issue. Because they have a schedule. When the time of prayer is to be called, the church activity will stop till after the prayers.
if the Muslims are doing something, you see Christians attending it. And you see in some churches here, some Muslims come even attend wedding and some of the things like that. So I don't see any differences amongst us.
From the bustling streets of Kaduna metropolis to the calm neighborhood of Kafancha and Zaria, the story is that of peace, respect for one another, and unity in diversity.
The program is still Tuesday Live, and our focus tonight is Trump's threat, patriotism for national development. We are just coming back from Abakaliki and Kaduna. Now, one concern that has been raised within this program is the fact that there's a problem.
Yes.
Nigerians need to be patriotic. Government is doing everything. But let me just pinch this, beginning with His Excellency Ambassador Dauda Danladi. When we are talking, we talk federal government, but we have national and sub-nationals. Where do they need to function to ensure that all this works to allow the likes of US, as much as President Trump has raised his concern, it's on record that they have also shown a lot of concern by giving support to Nigeria. But Nigeria, being a strong voice in Africa, has been very careful on the kind of support they get from the US. So let's sustain this.
Yeah, I think we'll start by making a quick observation on what my brother here, Dr. Omale and Dr. Tunji have said. You see, we must have a clear distinction between what is patriotism, what is resilience, and possibly what is even docility. You see, until we can make that distinction...
Can I just hold you? We have a caller from Jos, Lawrence. Let's just take the call, then I'll come back to you. Lawrence. Hello, Lawrence.
Hello, how are you?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, I just want to say that do we really need President Trump for America to speak before Nigeria can join to action?
No, that's it.
The killings on Plateau there is no day that passes by that people will not be slaughtered like that. Not gone this time. And if you interact with the people there, what they will tell you is that when they interact with the military men that are at the point there, they will say, until they get order from above. So why then are they having their own point in those villages that yet people are, no single person has been arrested? If you take a Trump to go and help us out in Nigeria, fine, because we need peace. We just have to live, because if you have someone in those areas where people are being killed without restraint, you will understand what they are saying. People are just talking there. There is no religious plan to eliminate some whatever. It might not be religious. The people might just have some plans to come and take over where other people are. But honestly, people like Plateau State, if you come to Plateau State, every day you hear news, they attack this village. They attack that village. They kill 5 people. They kill 10 children. It is too much. If you take a Trump to come and help us out to Nigeria, let it be.
In Plateau.
Let it be, because we cannot say that we cannot
They kill travelers.
It's very, very easy. I think
Thank you so much. The caller came from Jos, Plateau State.
Yes,
I think he's aligning what your thoughts.
Yes. So you see, having made this observation, you talk about the national, the subnational. Over the years, state governments have been supporting our armed forces through the provision of logistic equipment like motor vehicles, fueling of their vehicles, purchase of communication equipments, including even the local governments. They have been supporting and complementing the efforts of the federal government. But let me say this, that the security challenges in Nigeria, we need to go back again to recalibrate the root causes of these security challenges. You see, perhaps there is even an external dimension to these challenges that Nigeria have been facing. I could remember that in 2012 to 2013, 2014, at the height of Boko Haram, Nigeria, there was this snag that whether the presidential election could take place. Why? Because the Western countries have refused to sell arms to our armed forces. I don't know if you could recall that. Frantic effort was made by Jonathan government to procure the required arms so that this menace could be prosecuted. It was a big challenge. The United States, at that time, I think under Barack Obama, there was a kind of a gray area, a kind of a sanction based on an alleged human rights abuses by our gallant armed forces. They refused to sell this equipment to us. I was in Pakistan. Now, I think I need to reveal this, because it was Pakistan that said, look, having briefed them, they said, look, we know you are having challenges of arms. Bring your chief of air staff. Let me know the kind of ammo they required. Bring the Air Chief Marshal Rafiq in Pakistan. We were able to evacuate ammo equivalent to 21 trips of C-130 to Nigeria. It was delivered in Makurdi and it was delivered in Kaduna. Air Marshal Bade of blessed memory and Amos played a key role. These arms were brought, and the federal government, I still remember, I came, I had meeting with the then president, the national security advisor, Ambassador Hassan Tukur, the principal secretary to Jonathan, is still alive. It was based on that they shifted the presidential election 6 weeks. With the arrival of this arm, and they were able to dislodge Boko Haram to ensure that the presidential election take place in Nigeria. So, at times, it is not that the government is not willing. At times, there are international politics, conspiracy that stultify the determination of government to get rid of this particular challenge. So, we should have this and bear this in mind. In addition, you see, when you talk about patriotism, it's key. Love, devotion, compassion.
Let's take this, it's an interactive program.
Go
Let's
ahead.
take this caller from...
Thank you.
Edward. Edward is calling from where? Hello, Edward. Hello, Edward. Can you turn down the volume of the television set and make your contributions, please? Please turn down the volume of your television set. I think we lost that caller. Please, if you're making your call, turn down the volume of your television set. Otherwise, you have the echo that we just had now, and will not get your contribution clearly. Well, please just conclude, please.
Yeah, so...
Thank you for the way you are reacting to the threat.
Go ahead, please.
For the betterment of this country. I want to specifically thank that man that said patriotism is when you want to protect the greatest patriotism is when you want to protect the interest or life of the citizens. Let us stop creating false threats. Let us wake up to the reality and tackle the problem of the country. It is just of the insecurity that threatens the country. So let us wake up and start tackling the insecurity so that people will stop dying. It doesn't matter if you are a Christian or a Muslim, you tackle for the lives of people to be protected. So thank you very much. Thank you for the reactions you are giving so far. That's my little contribution. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Edward. Just conclude, we'll go to that.
Yeah, so what I'm saying in a nutshell is that there is an international dimension, and it is the recalibration of our security challenges is apt. And what Trump has said is a wake-up call. And I see a situation where the federal government will take the decisive steps, mobilize the necessary international support, ensure that our armed forces are fully equipped, they have the equipment, they have the tools, so that they can
fight the crime.
They can fight the crime. After all, Nigerian armed forces have demonstrated exceptional abilities in peacekeeping operations around the world. If we can go to Liberia and Sierra Leone and stabilize this country, I see no reason why we cannot get rid of this particular bandit if there are no other conspiracies. If perhaps both internally and externally there are conspirators that are benefiting from these security challenges confronting Nigeria. Is it as a result of the exploitation of mineral resources? When it is said that one particular rare mineral resource that we have, the Californium, that a gram of that will bring about $27 million. Of course, the illegal mining that is going on here, most of these illegal, why can't we go into the Zambeza?
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
What can't we go to Zamfara?
Let's take this
What's
caller.
happening?
Let's take this caller from Lagos, and when we are back, I'll go to Omale before Abdullahi, before go to Lagos. Let's take this caller from Lagos. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead, please.
All right, thank you. My name is John Murphy. I'm a resident in Lagos, though, but I'm from Borno State, Chibok local government.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so I'm actually talking about patriotism that you mentioned earlier. I think Nigeria, we are more patriotic than you can ever imagine.
Yes.
And we're so, in fact, I don't know how to say it, but coming from the north, I've seen how difficult we have been going through, and then, you know, we try our best as much as possible to just adapt to it, whatever situation that comes our way. So for the past almost like 20 years, as a citizen of Borno State, I know what we passed through, and someone that came from Chibok in particular. So I think our government is not doing well. What they are supposed to do, they are not doing. That is why we are passing through what we are passing through from 2009 till date. So when we received the news of US threatening a military action against Nigeria, someone like me, I was very happy, because I felt that the government of the day fell in their area to discharge their duty, which is to protect the life of her citizens. So sometimes when one of you says that they should, that at least there are some procedures, because we have the state government, we have, yes, of course, I know we have all that, but there are some situations that will happen in the case of terrorism and all this. You will call the military, there won't be any response. And
thank you so much, John.
The militaries, and I mean, after the bandit or whatever have already carried out their operation successfully, the military men.
All right, thank you so much, John. That was John from Borno State, but residing in Lagos. Omale.
Yes.
We're coasting home.
Yes.
So we're looking towards resolutions now. We have raised the concerns, we have raised our worries. What is the way forward now?
Okay,
following the reactions
the way
from
forward
yes.
is just simple. The Nigerian government should constructively engage with the United States government, dialogue with them, assure the international community, not just the United States government, assure the international community.
You're sounding like His Excellency Mr. President already. He has said this severally already.
Yes, should assure the international community that the government is really on top of its situation, and the government identify with the concerns of the international community, and the government will do whatever necessary to protect northern minorities and others that are facing these attacks that are very prevalent. With that assurance and with a strong commitment, I'm happy in the last 1 week, I see reports that 900 terrorists have been neutralized, camps have been bombed by the Air Force. So I'm very happy with those developments. If it will take the U.S. to make this threat and these things are happening, so be it. On the point that Ambassador raised about there need to be institutional reforms. And that is why we have been saying that one of the key problems is that the subnational, he raised the issue of subnational. The subnational are toothless. I was a local government chairman in Benue State. And I can tell you that the subnationals are very handicapped. A governor is not the chief security officer of his state because the security architecture is still controlled by the federal. So the governor has to take, the governor does not have the direct influence on the commissioner of police or the director of DSS or whatever. They have to rely on what the federal is saying. So we need to carry out institutional reforms to devolve powers from the octopus federal government so that the states can be able to tackle some of these security challenges. Each state should be able to tackle. In pre-colonial Nigeria, where we have the native authority, most of these things cannot rear its heads. Even in the early pre-independence in the First Republic, most of these issues could not raise their head because those in charge of leadership are the subnational.
One of your brothers, you're from Benue.
Yes.
We have a caller from Benue State. Hello, Paul. Before you conclude. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening. Go ahead, please. Or good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, my name is Paul, calling from Benue State.
Go ahead, please.
I want to say something briefly concerning the issue of the army going to the bush to kill the bandits or the Boko Haram. What about the sponsors? Are they residing in the bush with them, or are they living in the country with us, or they are coming outside to come and sponsor the Boko Haram to kill us, the common man in the country? Have they for once captured the Boko Haram, interrogate them, and get the sponsors and bring them to book and say, okay, these are the sponsors of these people, let's deal with them, let's prosecute them? I've never heard that. The only thing we do here is that they neutralize these ones, they neutralize this camp. The sponsors are from where? They are secret advisors to the president. The sponsors are from where? Who are sponsoring these people? Who are they getting their arms? Who is feeding them the forest? The director of GSS, tell us, who are they getting their food from? Okay, like in Benue State.
Okay, that was John from Benue. Please conclude.
Yeah, so what I'm saying
That's
is,
your brother from Benue State.
Well, no, he has raised very important issues.
It aligns with you.
Who are those bringing the arms? In fact, the bandits, terrorists are even more armed than our armed forces because of the sophistication. I even hear now that they have drones. So who is giving them the funds? They need to go after those people. They need to arrest them. They need to persecute them. We knew those that carried out bombing in Nyanya. We know those that carried bomb in Madala. We know those that did all kinds of atrocities that attacked churches. None of them has been brought to book. Those are the issues. If there is justice, if these people are arrested and dealt with, nobody will be complaining. It is because of the helplessness that is making people to shout. So government must, as a matter of urgency and necessity, ensure that those who perpetrate these acts are arrested, tried, and jailed. And that there will be a sense of justice. Because if people continue to commit these acts and nothing is happening to them, then what are we talking about? People will find other alternatives, which is including writing petitions to whoever they need to write petitions to. So you cannot say that they are unpatriotic. So I want to say that there are three key solutions that I have proffered. One, engage with America, assure the international community that Nigerian government will be on top of the situation to address the security challenges in Nigeria. Two, create institutional reforms. Ensure that chief executives at the subnationals are empowered to carry out security issues, allow state police, allow local government vigilante groups, and so on to fester, so that the over-centralization of our security architecture will be reduced. Then thirdly, go after and punish anybody that is engaged in this criminality or in these killings, and then we'll have peace in the country. That is my submission.
Okay. Dr.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Let me direct you to this. Okay. You mentioned NAREC, but let me veer a bit. National Council of Traditional Rulers. Can they play a role in this?
They can. Let me start with the issue of religious leaders. You are asking everybody to give solution. My first solution is we should know where the problem...
Can we take is there a caller, please? Okay, go ahead, please.
Where the problem started from is that our religious leaders are not truly religious enough. They did not exercise the opportunity and the right they have before taking matter out of this country. The trajectory of U.S. influencing or going to another country to solve problem has never been palatable. They destroyed those nations. So my first appeal is that our religious leaders, both Christian and Muslims, they should go back to Mr. President and take instruction on the fact that whatever is happening to each of the groups or any other religious groups are discussed on the table, solution profiled, and passed to the government to take action. That is one. Federal government, I want to challenge the federal government that a number of terrorists, bandits, and all those who are creating problems for us in this country, they should have the data and the location of these people. All of them supposed to be dealt with, all those who are presently in detention. According to our laws, they should be dealt with. The third point is that new service chiefs have taken over now, and they are warming up, they are ready to work. And the government says it's ready to give them all the wherewithals to work. If government does what it promised, the service chiefs should do their best at all levels. And within the next 6 months, we bring the issue of insecurity to a halt. What has happened is unpalatable, it's unfortunate, but it's a wake-up call to the federal government, to the religious leaders, to the people of Nigeria themselves. Because you can't just be saying you are wishing the government well. When you are wishing them well, you too behave well, pray for the government, support the government, and the government itself must be very, very patriotic. In the three arms of government that we have, the executive, the judiciary, the legislature, and all the security agents, they should all do their work as it should be done. But religious leaders, stop pursuing economic affairs outside the country by using your country for sacrifice because of what you are pursuing. May God save us.
Let's go to Dr. Tunji Abayomi. Doctor, I know I've kept you. I look forward to a day you'll be with me here in the studio in Abuja, but we want to engage your thoughts. Somehow, at times we forget to say, at times let the hunter become the hunted. Does the media in any way has a role to play in this? Instead, straight patriotism for national development, what role should the media be playing in all this?
Obviously,
patriotism for national development, what role should the media be playing in all this?
Part of the complaint is that often these tragedies that beset communities are not properly reported in order to agitate concern. So therefore the media is essential. But let me make something very clear. President Trump is not saying only Christians are dying. He said terrorists, extremists, Islamic extremists are targeting Christians and killing Christians. Obviously, in that process, Muslims can die or may die. But there are no situations where, for example, you have Christians targeting Muslims. So let us understand it. So if the position is that terrorists are targeting certain people, whether ethnic or religious group, It's important to understand. So what do we do? So, in my view, the government should terrorize the terrorists in order to protect the people. Then the government should ensure freedom. You cannot live in any community in your own country where you are afraid to serve your God because of certain other citizens. It is simply not acceptable. It is not tolerable. The other issue is that community leaders in this country should come to a new realization. Let us focus on our Nigerianity instead of whether you are a Muslim or a Christian, whether you are from the north or south, whether you are this or that. You are a citizen, and because you are a citizen, you are my brother, what I call the theory of the other person. And we should be very serious about this. This issue in this nation keeps us backwards. I mean, you can imagine a nation that is supposed to lead Africa, the most important black nation in the world. It is ridiculous. It's also exposing us to utter ridicule that you have a situation where, you know, children are killed, where people are slaughtered. I read many of these reports, and you are talking of patriotism. Tell me the type of patriotism that will be material to a man in a village where some terrorists come to that village and they wipe off 200 people or 700, including his son. I'm telling you my own personal experience. The chairman of CAN in Odo Ape, 77-year-old cousin of mine, was in hell sleeping. Fulani herdsmen came in, blew up the door, took him into the forest, demanded money, started with 50 million. We raised 10 million, praying, begging, doing everything. You took the money and you still killed him. You are now telling me about patriotism? If I can get any help anywhere to secure my life, will I not do it anywhere? So, if the nation wants the citizens to be patriotic, the leaders must wake up to their responsibility. And I'm not talking of the government, federal government alone. I'm talking of religious leaders. I'm talking of community leaders. I'm talking of political leaders. I'm talking of security leaders. And I'm saying they should be preoccupied about the interest, the need of the citizens for security, for their well-being, for food and all sorts of things. We cannot have a nation where the leaders are living well, happily, enjoying their time, protecting themselves with security, and the people cannot sleep in their house. We cannot have that kind of nation. So the leaders of Nigeria must wake up.
Tunji Abayomi, it was nice having you on Tuesday Live tonight, and always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks so much. Dr. Tunji Abayomi joined us from our Lagos Network Center tonight. Let's be back here in Abuja. And Omale, our coasting home now, you heard him. I parried my question a bit, but let me go back to it. I know the National Orientation Agency is doing a lot, NTA is doing a lot, and so many media arms. What way forward media advocacy trying to reject all this? Looking at our theme, Trump threats, patriotism for national development.
Yes, I am very impressed with the NTA. The NTA is not the NTA that we know in the past. For some time now, I've been appearing on a lot of programs here on the NTA, and the NTA has become very, very incisive. Analysis are done transparently and in a way that is supposed to help government. Most of the things we are saying here, we are trying to find solution to the problems that exist. nobody is interested in just criticizing for criticism's sake. We are saying these things because we genuinely feel for this country and we genuinely want this country to make progress. So the media has a lot of role to play in enlightening the citizens and also in holding the government accountable. I'm going to deliver a paper tomorrow at a function, and we are talking about how citizens can hold government accountable. One of is what we have done here today. We have looked at the whole issues, in as much as we are not supporting that America should come and invade Nigeria. There are issues. You cannot throw away the baby and the bathwater. There are certain issues that have been raised, and these issues have to be tackled. The issue of insecurity in the country has been very worrisome to everybody. Even the government knows that it's a problem. And all hands must be on deck to solve this problem. And the media has a lot of role. And let me say, Nigeria has one of the most vibrant media. I say anywhere I go, that there's nowhere in Africa where you have the type of media that we have in this country. If it is not the media, we will not know a quarter of what is happening. But because of the vibrancy of the media, both print, electronic, including NTA, look at the beautiful prologue and analysis you did for this program. I saw some even villages that were attacked, burnt by bandits or whatever in the prologue. It shows that we are making progress as a nation, and the media is very, very important in making us bond together as a nation and solving the problem of insecurity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Oga Ibrahim Abdullahi, should the security architecture be overwhelmed in all this, or should they be reinforced?
I want the security architecture of Nigeria to be reinforced. All the security systems, equipment, personnel, training, and sufficient funds to run their activities is so important. Before we round up, I belong to the media. And I know that media is divided into two. The media in Nigeria is professional, is ethical. There are a lot of irresponsible media organizations, especially on the social media. They could aggravate the present problem we have presently. They've been contributing to insecurity that we are facing in the country. Some of those untrained professionals in the social media who are giving stories of what has occurred about 5 years ago, they will just dump it on this thing as if it's currently happening now. There are many irresponsible media activities going on. But for the organizations that are owned by federal and state government, for the level of training they have received through NTA, through Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and the National Broadcasting Commission that has regulatory responsibility over them, you will not find most of the federal and state government media organizations misbehaving. But private media organizations, the newspapers, the radio, the television, because of their political and economic interests, they carry anything. They have to be very, very careful, and NBC must be on its toes to ensure that whether federal government agency, state, or private electronic media, they behave responsibly, because media professionalism, ethical responsibility must be taken very serious, so that the matter we have will not be totally escalated. Thank you.
I reserved you for the last because most times when there's crisis, I recall vividly when we had the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Nigerians were at the center of it. I was moved, just like Abdullahi was saying. I invited the Minister of Foreign Affairs to the program, and I thought when I told this, he would throw in the spanners. He said, look, diplomacy is key. Diplomacy is key. So
That's the way.
Let's hear the icing on the cake from your end before.
Again, I would like to quickly point out that as Dr. Tunji, I think that's our...
He's listening to you still there.
Yeah. You see, he wants leaders that are accountable. He wants leaders that are transparent. He wants armed forces that can make sacrifices, pay the supreme price. That takes patriotism. So Dr. Tunji, patriotism is key to national development. But let me just quickly round up my thought by saying that I think the government has taken the right steps to engage constructively with the United States and to find a solution to this challenge. And I think we will find that solution, because just this August, the United States has approved the sale of additional arms to Nigeria, over $300 million. And they would not have done that if the institution, because the institutions are strong in the U.S. Yes, the president could have his own view, but the institutions are strong. So I think with constructive engagement, I think we will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Secondly, we should quickly put in place high-level representation to man our missions abroad. We need that representation to propagate, okay, to defend, to debunk any negative narratives against the country. So you need that high-level representation. Most importantly, we need to double down on the non-kinetic approach. The issue of poverty must be addressed. And already this government has put in place various reform programs for that. The issue of unemployment among the youth. Again, the government has put in place a lot of programs. I remember there is this youth academy that's supposed to train our youths, give them digital knowledge and the technical skills so they can even compete at the global level. We need to address the issue of food security. This government has come up with so many programs. These programs, the implementers of this program, we have to call on them that please, they should be patriotic to ensure the full implementation of this program. Do we have the political will to fund this program? I think the present president, I think he has the will to fund this particular program. So what is required is that all hands should be on deck to find a lasting solution to this challenge. And I think finally, I would also call on the federal government. Perhaps we need to put in place, I say, a recalibration of an action plan to tackle the menace of terrorism. We should have an action plan. We should set up a counter-terrorism agency, if need be, that will be charged with the responsibility of intelligence gathering, intelligence sharing, okay, tracing illicit funds, okay, and at the same time have the capacity to dismantle terrorist networks. Yes,
thank you so much,
we should be transparent and open the fight against terrorism transparently. If it needs be, we should open it to international journalists. Let them come and see what we are doing.
Thank you so much.
And I believe with that, we will be able to achieve our objectives.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Dauda Danladi. It was nice having this topic tonight. Trump threats patriotism for national development. Let me begin by thanking Dr. Tunji Abayomi. He joined us from the Lagos Network Center. It was nice having you on the program tonight. Thank you so much. And back here in Abuja, we had with us also Dr. Adoyi Matthew Male, Foreign Affairs expert. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Ibrahim Abdullahi, seasoned public servant and human resource management professional. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Ambassador Dauda Danladi, former Nigerian ambassador to Pakistan. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Trump threat, patriotism for national development. We talked about our strength, our intelligence, and the need for us to strengthen our Nigerianness. On behalf of all of us here, and all those who put in their calls, their concerns, their questions, and their issues, we thank you for being part of the program. Let's do it again. Another edition of the program. Bye-bye.